Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our chats with Emily as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are using the Johnson edition, and we now turn to poem 310, Give Little Anguish. This is another amazing poem about pain and suffering here, anguish, and of course the question of theodicy. We are in many ways, because this is another soup poem, we are back to poems 252 and 305. Now, our assumptions, you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've already worked through our set of introductory comments, and if you have, you'll remember that we talked about our big five. That is to say, what does this poem say about epistemology? Well, you can know ontology, who you are, psychology, the study of the individual mind, sociology, the study of the collective mind, but finally that fifth one, as I just mentioned, the word theodicy, the question of, well, what is it that Milton calls it, of man's first disobedience and the fruit of that forbidden tree, whose mortal taste brought death into the world, and all our, he calls it woe, she'll call it anguish. The question here, of course, will be how to deal with anguish, and notice the comparisons that she will play with as she plays the game. It's a remarkable little poem. She says, give little anguish, lives will fret. Give avalanches, and they'll slant, straighten, look cautious for their breath, but make no syllable, like death, who only shows his marble disc, sublimer sort than speech. Now notice her comparisons. If you give somebody just a little bit of anguish, well, they get a little bit freaked out, fret about it. But give them an avalanche, notice from anguish to avalanche, give them a whole lot, and the first thing you'll do is slant. In other words, it's going to knock them off balance. But then notice what she says she does next. She straightens, and then look cautious for the breath, okay? So in other words, I don't want to give away that this is really an avalanche of anguish, but make no syllable, translinguistic. In other words, the pain is too great to talk about, which is ironic given all the poems Emily writes about it. Notice we finish with the word speech. And then she'll use this simile, like death, who only shows his marble disc. By the way, in the poem that she sent to Sue, she didn't say marble disc, she said granite face. And then finally, sublimer sort. It's a mechanism, a way to get through the great anguish, the great pain, much more profound than speech. What is she saying in 2a? I think her argument is that silence is often the best response to serious anguish, the avalanche of anguish. At 2b, I love the comparison technique that sets this poem up. At 3a, well, I think standing behind much of these kinds of poems is Milton's challenge of the woe and death that the taste of the apple for Milton brought into the world. But I want us to go back, because we've given full lectures of Paradise Lost at LearnStrong.net. I want you to think a little bit about the compelling idea of the moments in Paradise Lost when there is a silence because there's nothing. All you can do is slant, and then straighten, and then say nothing. How remarkable to read Milton's Paradise Lost that way. Finally, at 3b, to own a poem like this. What was a time when you had to deal with the avalanche of anguish? I'm hopeful that Emily's helping you in that regards. Thank you.